Hey everybody, welcome to the Comfy Nest with Grace. My name is Grace. I live up here in North Dakota where it is snowy and cold. It's sunny today, but it's snowy and cold. I'm taking a little break. I'm gonna have a little water. I've been working hard this morning trying to finalize some things for my membership club for the month. I just keep changing my mind. Do you ever have that happen to yourself? I just keep changing my mind. I just am so indecisive, but it's all good. It's all good. We always have a good time in there. We're doing Pretty Kitty, Dapper Cat mixed media project this month. This is project 60 in that club. Plus we have, I do gratitude journaling every Sunday. We have a business builders meeting. Tonight is bingo. It's a really active club. So if you're not a member of a club yet, think about joining one, even if it's not the one here at the Comfy Nest with Grace. I am going to be sending an invitation to the people on the wait list pretty soon because some of you have been privately messaging me and saying, when are the doors to your club opening? So I think I'm just going to send a little invitation to the people on the wait list so that they can get in there, although I'm not opening the doors to the public just yet. Got some behind the scenes stuff happening, some very exciting stuff that we're trying to get ready for members. Hey, Virginia, how are you, Ginny? Speaking of members, there's Trisha. Hello, Trisha. Hey, Christina. Thank you guys for being here. So I asked you guys a while ago here on the page, this post, I posted this. What are your junk journaling? Oh, that's backwards and I'm so sorry. What are your junk journaling questions? So I've been posting some questions on the page to get to know you guys better, so I can get to know the kinds of things like that, the things that you have that are questions, the things that are obstacles for you, or just like kind of hold you back from being your best creative self. So I thought it would be just a fun way to just get to know you all better. So when I'm asking the questions, please answer them. It really does help me know how to serve you better and what to offer. So I am printing all of these out so that I can have record of the things that matter most to you. So hopefully this will help us both in the long run. Okay, so let me just see. I want to make sure though, I know that the feed's working because I can see some comments on my phone, but I like to see them on my computer here, the comments, so that I can keep up with them. I had asked the question, gosh, maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I printed out the questions that you guys had, and I'm going to address those questions. But if you guys have other questions about junk journaling, I'll do the best I can to answer them. So just go ahead and ask in the comments there. I finally found it. Took me that long. Hey, Ruth, how are you, friend? Thanks, Debbie. Thanks for spreading the grace. I appreciate you so much. There are some hearts for you, my darling dear. Thanks for being a subscriber. Thanks for helping spread the grace. I appreciate it. Okay. Hey, Cheryl's here. Hey, Cheryl. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's start. I'm going to actually sit down just because it's kind of my little break. This is my break time. I've been standing a lot, so I'm going to sit down and let me answer the questions that you guys have. So Sherry Dulia asked, I hope I pronounced your name right, Sherry. If you're watching this now, please let me know that you're here. It says she's a top fan here at the page. If you're here, let me know that you're here. If you're catching the replay, let me know that you're catching the replay. I would love to know that you got the answer to your question. Her question was, can you please explain what is decoupage rice paper, ? She says, I thought they were two different things. You have some beautiful paper in your shop. Could I use it in a journal? Thanks. That's her question. So you got a couple of questions wrapped in there, but I love talking rice papers. I love talking junk journaling, and I love talking crafting. I love it all. So let's do it. Can we explain what decoupage rice paper is? Actually, a lot of people in the creative world use terms, they use terms, I don't want to say incorrectly, but kind of, they just use them universally. I guess that's the way to say it, because I don't want to say you're wrong. So people will, I mean, there are companies that sell decoupage paper. It's called decoupage paper. But decoupage really is a verb. It's not a noun. It's not an adjective. I suppose you could use it as an adjective, but it is the process of gluing. It's just the process of gluing cut out bits of paper. I do it with fabric too, but traditionally, like the definition, if you look up the definition of decoupage, it's going to be the art of gluing pieces of paper, either cut out or ripped pieces of paper onto a surface, and they usually mention wood, glass, or metal. Okay, can be any surface you want, really. You can put it on furniture. You can put it on anything. You can put it on fabric. You can glue bits of paper on anything. I do also decoupage fabric quite often as a mixed media artist. Mixed media artists, we just love to use a lot of different supplies in one project. So instead of creating, like we're doing these. We're doing, the girls in the Craft Therapy Club haven't seen this yet. And this is like my second or third version of her. And this is not the full project. This is just part of the project, but I'm going to give the girls a template for Pretty Kitty and they get a Dapper Cat template. So this is a little kitty that I made as, I'm preparing the project for the girls in the Craft Therapy Club. So her dress is made out of fabric completely. She's made out of paper. I used Stickles, which is like a glue that has glitter in it. I used a gel pen. I used a marker. I used ribbon. So that is mixed media in essence. It's using lots of different supplies to create something. And mixed media artists love to decoupage. We love the process of cutting things up like that and putting them back together in a new form, in a new creative way. So, and it can be anything. It can be any topic you want. So decoupaging can be to make something creative, like a project in an art journal. So yes, to answer the question that she had, Miss Sherry, she asked, can you do it in a journal? I love to create in journals and in books. So art journals, junk journals, just a plain, notebook that you have laying around. You can start gluing down bits of paper either in generic form, like, I make my backgrounds in my telephone book, and in that novel, I put my paper scraps in there. It's one of the ways that I use that to do tired crafting. When I'm too tired to actually think about anything, I have to make decisions like what color should her skirt be, what color should her top be. When I just want to create, but I don't want to think too hard, I just take all my paper scraps and I glue them down in a book. Did you know that? Have you seen that yet? Let me grab it. Let me see if I can grab it real fast. So I have a couple of size books. This is our local telephone book. And when I'm tired, but I want to do something creative, I decoupage with paper and fabric. Glue. Decoupage equals gluing. It's just a verb to say we're gluing it down. So I create all these pages that I can use in my junk journals. I can use them for backgrounds, for greeting cards, or for a mixed media project. I could paint on them. I can do more decoupage on them. I can fold them in half and create, like I said, books out of them. So you can decoupage on anything. Traditionally, it's with paper. Decoupaging is a verb, you gluing paper, but I use fabric as well. You could really decoupage anything. So decoupage, even though it's used universally to describe things, meaning papers, and the action of gluing the papers down, it really is, the true definition is the action word, gluing the papers down with whatever glue that you want. Now, there are decoupage glues. Whole nother topic we won't even get into because that wasn't her question. But in my telephone book, I just use Elmer's glue. You can buy special fancy decoupage glues. In the Craft Therapy Club, I have a whole session that tests glues that are decoupage glues. I grabbed about, I don't know, did we test like 6 or 8 of them, girls? Different brands, and we tested them on fabric. We tested them on paper just to see what they can do. Love to test out different products and to share with the ladies, what the products can and can't do so that you guys feel real confident when you go ahead and do your projects. So can I explain what decoupage rice paper is? Decoupage, sometimes paper is called decoupage paper, but decoupaging is the verb, the action word of gluing down papers onto another surface. Rice paper is a paper that you could use to decoupage with. So, hey, Gia, I just wanted to check the comments real quick and see who is here. Ruth started a glue book. Get a girl, get a girl. Glue, glue, glue. I love me some glue. I love me some paper collage. It just makes me happy. It's so easy. It's such a great stash buster. I do it often, and they make great, starter pieces for other projects. So then you can go to your telephone book and pull a paper out and use it to, if you're making a birthday card or you want to paint something or just be creative in your journals, you can do that. Hey, B, how are you? Grace is your grandmother's name? It was my grandmother's name too. I'm named after my paternal grandmother. So yeah, that's so cool. I'm glad you caught me live too. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Tanya. So I'm answering questions that you guys had about junk journaling. I asked what your junk journaling questions were here on the page in this format. It was just like one of those colored block questions. And I'm going to be doing this to answer your questions and to get to know you guys better. So I'm answering the questions that some of you ladies had about it. So she asked, what is decoupage? We just talked about that. And Sherry wanted to know, what is rice paper? Rice paper it's not made from rice. When it first came out and people were using the term rice paper, the papers were coming from Asian countries, number one, and traditionally, or most often, it's made out of the mulberry tree. So you've heard of mulberry paper as well, which I think of mulberry paper as a more fibrous version of rice paper. But generally, rice paper is very smooth. Mulberry paper can be very not smooth. It can be a little wiry. It can have little bits kind of hanging out of it. It's not completely smooth, but rice paper is very smooth. This is a piece of decoupage rice paper that I sell in my shop. If you want to go check out napkins and papers in my shop, you would go to thecomfynestwithgrace.com and just go to the shop section of the website. This is a decoupage queen. That's the name of the company. That's the name of the brand, and I'm a retailer for them. This is the brand name of this rice paper. I'm going to turn it around and show you the back of it, because in the back you can see the little white fibers. There are little white fibers embedded in the paper. I'm hoping you can see that. I'm hoping the lighting is good enough that you can see that. But there's little white fibers embedded in the paper. Let me see if I can point one out really. If I go to one of the darker sections where there's her purple flowers on this side, if I go this way, you might be able to see the white, like right there. There's some fibers of white here in the paper. Like there's another one right there. Those little white fibers, that's what I mean by the paper is fibrous. It's not made out of the same as normal paper. It's made out of the mulberry tree bark. So that's what rice paper is. It is way more sturdy than napkins to work with. When you tear it, it's just beautiful. Actually, let me see if I have a piece of scrap in my, here's my paper scraps bin. I think I have rice paper in here, like just like a little chunk of leftover. Yeah, right here, of course. There's a piece of rice paper. It's a leftover. It feels more like a fabric. It's not as, and it's more fibrous. Those are the two words that I would use to describe it. Once you purchase rice paper, if you've never worked with it before, once you get your hands on some rice paper for the first time and you kind of inspect it, you'll see that it definitely has different qualities than regular paper, okay, than like printer paper or whatever. Hey, Kim Holloway. Okay, so when I tear this, let me tear right here. You can see how fibrous it is. Like, see the edges? It almost looks like a fabric. It's super soft. It's really sturdy. So when a lot of us like to decoupage with napkins, which we do twice a month inside the membership group, the Craft Therapy Club. We do 2 napkin projects a month because we love us our napkins. And actually, new members get a welcome gift that is a bundle of napkins and rice paper that we use in the club to create with. So where was I going with that? So when you sometimes work with napkins, when you're gluing down or decoupaging napkins, the glue is wet. When you put the napkin into the glue, it very, very easily and sometimes frustratingly tears on you while you're trying to work with that napkin. So if you have a really pretty napkin, the front of a napkin that has a really beautiful floral or a butterfly on it, and you're trying to glue that down on something, the napkin, especially if you're a beginner at it and you haven't done it a whole lot, it can tear very easily. So you want to find ways that you can decoupage and the right glues to decoupage your napkins with. You may choose a different glue than you would use with rice paper or traditional paper, because they all have different qualities. This is so sturdy. when you get it wet, you can actually press on it. You can pick it up and put it back down. Can't do that with a napkin. So rice paper is the bomb. There are lots of designers who design rice paper and print rice paper. Decoupage Queen is just one of the many, and I happen to be a retailer for them. So you'll find lots of rice paper in my shop at thecomfynestwithgrace.com. But that's, she asked, what is decoupage rice paper? That's a long discussion about the ways to look at the answer to that question. Hey, Joy, how are you? Hey, Darlene. Okay, what does she also ask? Can you use it in a journal? And I already said, yes, you absolutely can. Yes, you can and you should. Okay, and thank you for saying, Miss Sherry, that I have beautiful papers in the shop. I have lots of napkins, lots of papers that you guys can be using in your projects. We use them regularly in the Craft Therapy Club. I do napkin crafting, we do napkin journaling, and we use rice paper quite a bit. So anyway, there's that. Vicki Nelson asks, what's the best way to remove your extra pages from a used book? Vicky's a subscriber. Thank you for being a subscriber, Vicki. And she says, I want to turn it into a junk journal. And I like the paper of the pages, but it would be way too thick to use all the pages. So traditionally, Vicki, okay, there's a few ways you can look at this. This is a hardcover book. This is a hardcover book, Norwegian American Studies. Got it from my local library in their big sale. And I bought it because I liked the cover. It was in great shape. If you're creating a junk journal and you're using a hardcover book as a book cover, most people will remove all of the pages of the book, which I have sitting right here actually. This is the inside of the book. So you remove all of the pages of that book so that you can then insert your own decorative pages into the book. This is the gratitude journal that we created in November inside the Craft Therapy Club. Our project of the month, I taught them how to take apart the hardcover book. And then I gave them, I think it was a 15 or 16 page printable. They didn't have to use it in their book, but I used the 15-page printable that I gave them for free. Again, it's in my shop if you want to buy it, but the club members get it for free. They got this printable that they could print from home, 8.5 by 11 regular printer paper, and then we folded them in half and we used those pages, those papers, that printable to sew in pages into your book. These pages in the book were all came from other places, and then we folded them and we put them all together in the book so that we could create this, where I'm using mine as a gratitude journal. That was my suggestion to them, that we make a gratitude journal. So it was fall, it was around Thanksgiving, and actually that's a piece of the rice paper that's in the welcome gift. That's just a part of one of the rice papers. So I've been using every Sunday, I go into this book and I do an entry once a week in this book on Sundays. I gratitude journal and I decorate the page, and then I write with a gold marker my journal entry about what I'm grateful for. So traditionally, most junk journalers are going to take the book apart completely, and the book pages on the inside go out, and then you put new pages in. And then you can use that book however you want. You can journal in it. You can use it as an art journal and just do art in it. You can use it for your recipes. You can sketch in it. You can do whatever you want with it. You can glue pictures into it and daily ephemera. I have a junkie, I call it the Junkie Junk Journal, and I'm putting my daily junk in that journal, and that's a YouTube series that I do every Friday on YouTube. There are lots of ways to use your books to just suit your own needs. But Vicki, traditionally, someone's going to pull all the pages out and recreate a new book with that book cover. Now, that being said, I do use regular books as journals. This is a Reader's Digest book. I left all of the pages in it, Vicki. And if you look at it this way, you can actually see where I tore out some of the pages. I left the Reader's Digest book like in its entirety with all the pages from the actual book. In fact, on this one, this journal entry, this art journal page, you can see the Reader's Digest page back there, what I was doing is I was flipping the pages and painting and gluing and foiling and embossing on the pages just in any artistic way that, you know, that I felt like doing. This page was a challenge inside the Craft Therapy Club, actually. I gave them those ice cream cones as a printout and challenged them to make a page in an art journal. So when I hold this up this way, you can see I tore out a lot of the pages from this Reader's Digest book to make room for gluing and painting. You can see I put, you know, some of the pages have burlap. That's like a little chipboard piece. That's one of those Tim Holtz dolls. This is actually wood. This is a wood cutout, one of those die cut wood cutouts. So the pages get really thick because I'm adding so much to them. So Vicki, if you are intending on using the book this way, this would be called more of an altered book. And you can just tear out the pages from your book. Some people do it in a very formal way where they'll go through their book before they do any creating in it. They'll go in their book and they'll open it up and they'll make a decision. I'm going to glue 4 pages together. I'm going to tear 4 pages out. I'm going to glue 4 pages together. I'm going to tear 4 pages out. That way they have plenty of room in their book for all of the extras that you're going to put in it. So you absolutely can do that if you want to do that. It's a really fun way to use a book. It gives you an outlet for creating. I mean, I know I'm holding that up backwards, but it gives you an outlet for creating, for playing with your supplies. Like this has chalk couture in it. I stenciled, I did some texture. I used my gel pens. Here I had a little printout that I liked, so I glued her in there. Here's a sunflower I liked. I think this was a challenge in the Craft Therapy Club too, where I used the art journal prompt cards that we made in the group, and it told me to use orange and yellow, and I was like, wah, wah, I'm not a big orange and yellow fan, but it challenged me to do that. Sometimes I just paint. I just painted these big flowers and doodled around them and used some washi tape, some like, you know, colorful washi tape in there. So it's just a great way. Here I was showcasing, we did these surfaces in the club too. And we made them with saran wrap. So this is a really fun background that you can make with saran wrap and paint. Isn't that cool? So I did one really bright with white and the other one was more black. That was a showcase inside the group. So just use your books however you want, Vicki. You can tear out the insides and put your own pages in, or you can just tear out some of the insides and glue pages together of the original book to create on, or any combination of that. You can do it however you like. And I always encourage you guys, you do you. Like, explore, discover. Your old used books are not hard to come by. This other book that I got for free, this one, this is my other art journal. This was out of a children's book. In fact, let's see. Yeah, you can see the last page of the book is still there. And like, that's the actual last page of this book. It's a Magic Treehouse book that I got for free at a thrift store. They just had it in a free bin and I grabbed it. I'm like, great, another book to work with. So this is another one that I pulled out pages and glued pages together and used it as an art journal. It's really inexpensive to do. So explore and don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just start doing it. Tear out pages, glue them together. I will say this, for altered books like these ones that I'm showing you, those two are both have spines that are glued. Back in the old days when publishers made books, that they would sew the pages into the book cover. Then it went to a combination of sewing and gluing because the glue is sturdy. It adds like a strength to it. And I think publishers have just gotten away, for the most part, unless you're buying a really expensive book, for the most part, like books that you can buy, they're mainly glued together. There's not a whole lot of sewing in newer books now. That's my opinion. I don't have any data to back that up, but that's my opinion. If you can find old books that are strung together with like waxed thread or whatever, you know, thread they use to tie it together, those are generally more sturdy when you start pulling pages out. So if you're going to be tearing 4 pages out and then gluing some together, these are both glued books, so it can be done. It totally can be done. But you'll hear some mixed media artists or journalers will say you can only use a book that is strung together with waxed thread, well, I'm proof that that's not true. I mean, you can use glued books, but you may have a page that wants to fall out every once in a while. I just glue them back in. I tape them back in. I don't think it's ever happened to me in either one of those books. So I don't have a problem with that, but you may hear some traditionalists tell you that you can only use sewn books. I don't think that that's true. I say forge ahead. I say forge ahead and learn as you go and just have fun with it. Don't overthink it. Listen, girls, we are not winning awards. We are not getting, well, I get paid for teaching you all these things. But, you know, from the members in my group, from subscribers who support the page, that's how I earn my living. But most of you are not earning a living by your artwork and your journals. So just have fun with it and don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just have fun. Just have fun. So Vicki, I hope that helped to answer your question. I'm going to check comments again. Hey, Benita, thanks for being here. Let's see. Oh, Chris Hunter, sweet darling. I hope you're doing good, friend. I hope you're doing good. We had that awesome event. They had their Sparkle event in the Sparkle room with Kathy and Chris this past weekend on Saturday. And I opened up that event. You guys, I've been working on that book. Chris, thank you for letting me be part of that. I did not make much progress. Where's my book? I did not make much, I didn't make as much progress as I wanted on that during the live, but I have been working on it this weekend, and this is another altered book. This is a, I'll show you. What's the name of the book? It's a prayer journal by, what's her name? Oh, Lord, Flannery O'Connor. It's a prayer journal book that I got for free. Again, it was a freebie that I got, and look at what I did to the front. I did use, Chris, look at this. I did use some Totally Dazzled on there and blinged up the front with the rice paper from Reba Rose Creations. That was the showcase on Saturday, was her creations on her website. And I did some metallic waxing on the back. And I'm going to use this as an art journal. I needed a new art journal like the ones I just showed you to create in. So that event on Saturday gave me a good reason to decorate the front of this. And now I have a new art journal to work in. Hey, Betty, how are you? So I'm answering the questions that I asked you guys here on the page. What are your junk journaling questions? And a few people answered, these are my questions. And so I'm trying to answer those today. That's what we're doing. And I'm going to be doing this on the regular. So watch for these block with just the words, these block posts that are colorful with just the words. I will pin them to the top of the page every couple of weeks. And I'm going to be answering these questions to help you guys just get a better understanding of anything that you're confused by. I know there are a lot of beginners, people who are just starting to create and craft, and I want you to feel real comfortable. I want you to feel like super confident when you start a project, and I will always encourage you to just do you. Like, just don't worry about it too much. Don't take it too seriously. Have fun with it. There's no craft police out there telling you can't do things or that you shouldn't do things. I'll tell you best practices that I've learned. I will always share that with you. I will tell you about the supplies that I love and the ones I don't love and why. I will always encourage you and inspire you with the projects that I share, especially in the club, the membership club. But there's no rules really. I just want to remind you, there's no rules. Just take it easy and enjoy it. That book reminds you of late night crafting. Oh, gee, I haven't done late night crafting in a long time. I had to switch my schedule because of my kids' activity schedules. I was doing late night crafting on Tuesday nights and it just became really, really difficult. Yeah, so I had to switch that up. Okay. Yes, rice and mulberry paper B are made from the same type of tree, the mulberry tree, the bark from the tree, but mulberry paper is definitely more fibrous. Hey, Jackie, thanks for being here. So I'm going back. Hey, Funky Junk Inspiration. My sweet friend Christy is here. Welcome, welcome. Teresa and Joy and Darlene. Do you put your signature in and then the cover or vice versa? Well, you need, okay, so Kimberly's asking another question. I'll get to the, Jamie Krause asked a question here. So I will get to hers in a minute, but I see Kimberly asked a question about junk journaling in the comments. She said, my question is, do you put your signature in and then the cover or vice versa? They go together. I'm trying to say, how do I frame this to answer your question? Do you put the signature in and then the cover? You need to have a cover to put the signature in. They happen together. They happen at the same time. So once you've created your cover, Then you create your signature, pick out the pages that you want to put in there, and then you sew them into your cover. And you can see like those little bit of waxed thread there that's holding these pages in. I'll show you when I get to the center of this. So this is a 7-hole. There's my thread that I punched through all my papers, and I punched through the book cover, and then we sew them together. Now, if you've never made a book, you guys, I just was able to publish the Make a Junk Journal Start to Finish workshop. You do it, it's a series of videos, including a video where I chat with you about what supplies you need to create your first junk journal. And in that particular workshop, we use a cereal box. So you don't, a food storage box, like you had a Triscuit box or a Wheat Thins box or a box of cereal. That's what we used. So just save one of those. You can grab that workshop from my site. You can purchase the workshop and do it at your own pace. Follow along with the videos. You'll have access to the videos forever because you'll be given a login so that you can get into the videos and into the workshop. You get a supply list, and I'm available in the community to answer questions just like this. So if you guys have questions while you're going through the process, you can simply ask and I will help you best I can. No, I am not, Karen. She's asking if I'm in Junk Journal Jamboree tomorrow. I used to do Junk Journal Jamboree every single month, and I just have not done it in probably 6 months. I really decided that I needed to focus more on you. You guys, I needed to do fewer events and focus more on the members in my club and helping them and being available to them and to the subscribers on the page. I get together with them every single Friday for happy hour. We do happy hour. We have a variety of things that we do, but I get together with subscribers every week and with Craft Therapy Club members a few times a week. And so I've decided to just really try to focus most on my customers here and you guys here rather than the events. I love the events. I love it because it helps me meet new people. It's not that I don't ever want to do them again. It's just that there's only so much of me to go around. There's only so much time in a day. And Gracie's tired. Girls, I'd be tired. I love Junk Journal Jamboree. I think it's a fantastic event. So, but I'm not doing it tomorrow. I am not. Oh, Carrie Hall, thanks for being here. I'm so glad you're here, friend. Hello in South Carolina, Miss Mitzi. All right, let's see. You love that cover, Virginia. Isn't it cute? I'm glad you love it. All right, let's see. Thanks for saying that, Chris Hunter. I'm going to grab for you guys, just give me a second. I'm going to grab for you the link to, for those of you who have never made a junk journal and you want to do it like in a very quiet, controlled space, in your own space. You watch the videos, you follow along with the videos, you can stop them, you can fast forward them, you can speed them up. So it's not live. They are video recordings that I've created to teach how to make a junk journal start to finish. And you'll do it out of a cereal box. So let me get the link to that so that you guys can grab that workshop if you want to. Okay. Had to just find the link. I gotta find the link and then I can give you the link. Here it is. Junk Journal, start to finish. So, and thank you, you guys. Whenever you make a purchase like that, when you go to my website and you purchase rice paper, when you join the Craft Therapy Club membership group and you're with me in the membership group, or as a subscriber, if you, now the one-off workshops, the Make a Junk Journal workshop on its own that you can purchase as a class, that's new. I've just started offering that from my new site. But I want to remind all the Craft Therapy Club members that workshop is in the club. You get it for free. You do not have to pay for it. It's already there for you. So if you are a Craft Therapy Club member and you're newer and you didn't remember that, I'm reminding you, do not buy the Junk Journal workshop because you get it for free. Anybody who's not a member of the Craft Therapy Club, if you want the workshop, I just gave you the link in the comments. Okay, let's get to this last question. Unless you have other questions, go ahead and shout them out in the comments. Hi, Diane. How are you? Okay, Jamie is asking, if you choose to use some paint on your pages, what type of paint do you suggest in your book? any paint you got, girl. You could use house paint. You could use the paint that you use to paint your bedroom wall. You could use any paint that you want. Now, paints have a variety of different features to them, right? Some paints are thicker, some are thinner, some are expensive, some are inexpensive, or cheap is the word I like to use. Some are cheaper. Like this is a very inexpensive brand of paint. It's a very thin paint. So if you're looking for texture or if you're looking for a thicker paint that has better coverage, you're traditionally going to pay more money for that paint. But it does not matter if it's chalk paint or acrylic paint, or some paints just say craft paint. It doesn't matter if it has a glossy finish or a matte finish or a satin finish. It doesn't matter if it comes in a shaker bottle or a bottle with a twisty top or a squeeze bottle. Doesn't matter. Use any paint that you want. Your papers that you're putting them onto, that will matter in terms of thinner papers. Like, for example, let me get you a little example here. I'm working on my pretty kitty, and this is the start of the phrase that I'm putting on that mixed media project. It says, "You did not." The full phrase is, "You did not lose your beauty when you broke." I printed it out on regular printer paper, and I used my pearlescent watercolor in a very soft pink to put on. It's probably hard for you to see from where you are, but it left a pearly pink sheen on this printer paper, and the printer paper took it like a charm. It actually made the printer paper kind of crinkly, which I really like because it gives it more texture. But you would definitely want to consider how thick your paper is versus the viscosity or the thickness of your paint, because thick paint is going to go on easier. But all papers, whatever, regardless of what kind of paper you have in your book, all papers, they're porous and they're going to suck up your paint. So the thicker your paint, the easier it is going to be to apply onto paper, because it's not going to suck up as fast. Thinner paint, like watercolor paints, it's going to suck up really fast and it's going to crinkle your papers up. And maybe that's what you want. I love that, but you may not want your papers to crinkle up. So you would want to think about, what kind of paper are you using? Did you prime your paper for the paint? That's another whole conversation. We talk about it a lot in the membership club. Priming your paper with gesso, which is a paint primer that artists use on canvases and on paper to prepare the canvas or the paper for the paint that you're going to put on it. So think about the thickness of your paper. What kind of paper is it? How absorbent it is. The thickness of your paint, what kind of paint it is, and how it's going to absorb in. Don't let any of that worry you at all. Like, seriously, who was it? That was Jamie asked this question. Jamie, just get your book, get your paints, and get in there and paint. Get in there and paint. I cannot express that enough. I will always encourage you to just explore and have fun with your projects. My art journal is probably a better, rather than my gratitude journal. I mostly write. I am decorating pages in here, but I'm not using a ton of paint. I have used some, but not a ton. This one, these pages have paint all over them, and this is just the book pages. This is this children's book. I love this page. This graphic of these two kids was on this children's book page, and I just used the graphic and I amped it up, and I gave them little party hats. They were drinking tea. They're sitting in little chairs drinking tea, and I just gave them like a little party on the page. So I used that page. I'm trying to get, like, where's there a page that has lots of paint? This is all paint. That's all paint. And I was just playing with paints and seeing what they do, like these pearlescent paints, what they do on black, what they do on gray. That isn't even a full art journal page. It's just a play page. This is all acrylic paint. That's all acrylic paint. So just get in there and paint. Don't worry too much about it. Don't overthink it. I've been doing this for a long time, you guys. So I do have quite a bit of knowledge about the features and the benefits of the different kinds of supplies. And I love to share that with you guys. But you don't have to have all that knowledge. You can just create for the sake of creating. And I love to inspire you with the projects that I do in the spirit of encouraging you to just dive right in. Like, please do not overthink it. You do not need an art degree to be artistic. You don't need an art degree to be a creative. Just get some paints and a book and start painting. Just have fun with it. Who cares you don't know how to make a flower? Practice and play making flowers. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be fun and enjoyable and relaxing for you. That is the main thing I will always encourage you to do. Thank you for sprinkling, Cindy. I'm going to give you some hearts. Thank you, Cindy, for sprinkling. Hey, Robin Zimmerman, thanks for joining us. Darlene says, thank you for all your good tips for journalers. You are inspiring me to get back into it. Get it, girl. Darlene, do it. And let me know here. I love to know that you guys are creating on a regular basis. That is my whole goal. Listen, us ladies, we are working hard for the people we love. We work hard for our jobs. We work hard for our churches, volunteering and doing all the things. You know, even if you're only working part-time, if you're a full-time worker, part-time worker, if you're retired and you're helping to take care of the grandkids, or you're not retired and you're helping to take care of your parents, we all work so hard. The name of my membership group is the Craft Therapy Club because we need me time. We need us time. We need girl time, fun and fellowship, which we do in that group. We're playing bingo tonight. It's nothing artistic. We play bingo and I give away craft supplies for prizes inside the club because I just want you to have fun. I want you to meet like-minded people who like to create and explore as much as you want to and who will always encourage you. So that's what you'll get in my club, or I would hope in any other club that you would join. But my club, for sure, that's what we do in that club. The doors will open pretty soon to that club. I think probably in April or May, late spring, I'll be opening the doors. I will also be sending an invite to anybody who's on the wait list soon to join, because there are several of you who have been just asking me, when are the doors opening? When are the doors opening? So I think I'll be sending a private invitation to the wait list waiters to let them in the club if they want to join now. It'll probably be in this next few days. So if you're not on the wait list, go to crafttherapyclub.com and you can join the wait list there, and then I'll send you a private invitation to join in this next week sometime. Okay, pros and cons of gesso. Oh, I love gesso, man. I love gesso. You know, gesso is white. You can get white, black, or clear. I have all three in my stash because I love to use it. It is a primer. So one of the big benefits, and gesso is a big topic, but one of the big benefits when you put gesso down. So this is a really beautiful page, right? It's really pretty. And if I wanted to journal in here and I wanted to use like a very wet medium, like a brush tipped, like paint marker, or so I usually use a gel pen to write in my books. But if you wanted to use a paint pen that's very wet and it's going to like seep into your book, one way that you control the seepage, so it doesn't, like when you put it down on the book page, that paint pen, if your paper is not primed, it could like seep. And then instead of being a dot, you get a dot that spreads and gets bigger. That would make your writing a little hard to read. Gesso, if you put the gesso down first, it's going to help create a barrier, a protective barrier between your paper and your color medium, whatever the pen is or paint is that you're going to put on the page. So it's an incredible primer. And because it comes in black, white, clear, you could put clear over this and protect the page without like hiding this pretty little image or this pretty little shape. So it's a great, great thing to have in your stash for mixed media artists and art journalers. You can texturize with gesso. You can use it as a primer. You can kind of use it as a paint if you just want to color something. There are colored gessos. I know Deco Art sells several colors. I think they have about a half a dozen different colors, like a soft green and a beige, a soft blue. So you can find colored gesso, and you can add paint, colored paint, to your gesso to color it if you want it colored. So if, say you have only white gesso and you want to add yellow gesso to a page, just add a little bit of your yellow acrylic paint and mix it in to the color of yellow that you want, as dark or as light as you want, and then you can use that to protect either your pages or your canvases. So if you like to use like a canvas that you hang on the wall, like this one right here. This is one of those chunky canvases that you can hang on the wall. It's another project from the Craft Therapy Club. This was project 39. We did this mixed media bird, and she has a really beautiful glossy finish. So we were experimenting with glossy varnishes and top coats. Anyway, if this, like a canvas, traditionally an artist would put gesso on a canvas. so that the canvas doesn't suck up all their really expensive paints, like a true artist who gets paid for their canvases that hang on a wall. They will protect, they put gesso on their canvas before they put their paints down so that their paints don't soak in too much into the canvas. It helps to make their paints last longer and makes it easier for them to control what the paint does on the surface. When you purchase, if you like to work on canvases, whether they're flat canvases or chunky ones like this, keep in mind when you buy, okay, if you go to Michael's to buy canvases, do you ever notice that they have numbers on them? The canvases, they have like level 1, level 2, level 3. I don't know if it goes up to level 4, but like the higher level ones are professional grade canvases and they're expensive, girls. They are expensive. I always buy 1 or 2, number 1 or 2. That's like the student level. But the higher end level ones, the most expensive ones, usually already are primed with gesso. So if you're buying canvases, read the description of your canvas. If it's already primed with gesso, you don't need to put any gesso on it. It's already got it on there. And you can buy black canvases, black gessoed, or white gessoed canvases. But there's another little tip for you if you didn't know that. Canvases come in a variety of, well, Michael's is a great example because if you shop Michael's canvases, they have number system, and one is like the student version, and then they go up in price and up in quality, and the higher quality ones are already gessoed. There you go. There you go. I have so much I can share, you guys. So much to share. You're watching while you're sorting craft supplies. Get it, Mary, get it. Isn't that cute? This little bird. I loved this little bird. I did several versions of this little bird. And you know, of course, you know, anybody, when we do the projects, I give them the templates in the group. I give you guys the templates and then we meet live. I go live in the group and we create together at the same time live. They get a supply list, they get the templates, and then they gather their own supplies. I normally try to use supplies that you probably already have on hand. If you're a crafter, creator, you probably have a lot of stuff already on hand. And I always do a supply list chat because, for example, I used a stencil for this and it was a polka dot stencil. You can see it. But if you don't have this polka dot stencil, I tell you ways that you can get the same look if you like the dots, or I would suggest you just use a stencil that you have on hand that you like the pattern of on the side of yours. So I will always talk you through. If you don't have this, then use that, okay? Because I know not all of us have the same supplies on hand, and I really would like it so that you wouldn't have to go out and buy a ton of new stuff. Like, let's just use up the craft stash we already got. Okay, let's see. I'm just checking real quick to see if there are any other questions. B's question, pros and cons of gesso. I touched on it very briefly. We could chat for an hour just about gesso. Janet, thanks for saying so. She said, always an inspiration and support to our art journeys. Yes, I will always support you in your journey with your art journals or your junk journals or whatever kinds of creating you like to do. Hey, Shauna, how are you, subscribing friend? Thanks for being here. All right, I don't see any other questions. So I'm going to hang it up because I got more work to do. This was a really good break. I didn't get to drink much water, but I'm going to take a little sip now. It's been a really good break for me from like kind of the nuts and bolts of my day, the stuff that I do behind the scene to get everything ready for you guys. There is still another, I'm going to take this question down. It's pinned to the top of the page, but there is another question at the top of the page that asks you about, I think it's about your obstacles. Like, what are the obstacles that hold you back from creating on a regular basis? I would love to know the answer to that question. What's holding you back? Because if I can find ways to help you overcome those obstacles, girl, I am all about that. I want you to create as often as you want to, and to make the time for yourself. It is so much easier when you belong to a group of friends that meet regularly. The project is given to you. Here's the project we're doing. The templates are given to you. The supply list is given to you. So there's not a lot of thinking for you. You don't have to plan it. I do all that for you. And then we meet live together and we create together. I will try always to help you, avoid or get over those obstacles. So tell me what your obstacles are, because maybe you have some that I've never thought about. I would love to hear it. I will be posting these questions and then going live answering your questions here on the page. And I hope that's a helpful service or just a helpful conversation for you guys, and helps to encourage you to create more regularly. All right, you guys, I'm going to run so I can get to work. Go make something pretty that brings your heart joy. Gift yourself the time today, just even 10 minutes in your book. Just slap some colors on or play with your markers or doodle. It doesn't matter what it is. Just gift yourself that little bit of time. It's so good for your heart and soul. And I think for me anyway, I'm a better person when I come out of my craft room, even if I've had 15 minutes to myself to play with colors and shapes and papers. I'm better to my family. I'm nicer. So let's go gift ourselves some of that time, you guys. Have a blessed day. I'll see you next time.